On Triad today, we welcome back our good friend, J. Paul Director, if we can see, Brent McKinney, of course, is Executive Director of PART, and he stops in from time to time, not often enough, I might say. We always like to have you here. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jim. Good to be with you.
You know, in the past, we've talked about how popular the PART run is from the Triad area to Boone. Very popular thing. Now, all of a sudden, that's been turned over to the private sector. I don't quite understand what you're talking about. What is that all about?
It has been turned over to the private sector completely. What happened about 5 years ago is that the U.S. DOT declared Boone as an isolated rural area in America. No Greyhound, Trailway, or any other public transportation services there. So they turned to us and asked if we would provide that service after they received no bids from the private sector.
Right.
We agreed to do that, so we ran the service for 4 years. We built it up where it's got a good ridership.
Oh, yeah.
And back in the summer, the DOT went out for bids, and someone put in a bid on the route, and we said, hey, we did our job, and so we turned it back over to the private sector.
So that's the way it's supposed to work, then?
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Give me a perspective, since we're sort of talking about history and looking back and looking forward, where we were in the 50s and 60s, because, you know, and I'm bringing this up, folks at home. They say, why are you bringing this up? Because, look, we've had people complain about construction on I-40, and it's going to get worse and worse. Where were we in the 50s in terms of traffic and transportation and the highways and subsidized transportation? Where are we now? Where should we be?
Back in the 50s, Jim, we had multiple ways to travel. We had small bus companies. We had privately owned operators in our cities. We had travel by passenger rail service to many places. And what happened, and all of this was before we had a taxation on fuel to build roadways.
We even had trolley cars in a lot of
places. We had trolley cars. We had a variety of ways to travel. But then whenever we embarked on building this system of superhighways, and then what we did is we subsidized the highways and we put all those small businesses out of service.
And now we need them.
Passenger rail service is gone for most of America. All the private small-owned bus companies in our cities were owned, and so we've had to subsidize public transportation. I think where we are today is it's time for us to take whatever action, if you call it a subsidy or whatever, let's get those private companies, let's get them back in business.
Now, if we have to
subsidize it, bring them back, let's do that.
Yeah, we need to, if we need to pay a little bit more in tax, we need to keep the PART buses going, we need to do van pools, we need to have trolley cars, light rail, and all those things. Passenger rail. You've been having a series of private meetings, and I know I don't want to go into anything confidential, but you've sat down with a lot of college presidents and chancellors lately. What are they telling you about their overcrowding problem, their parking problem, anything that has to do with transportation?
Well, Jim, we've talked about all of those things, and perhaps a few other topics have come up. But I wanted to meet with the leaders in our community, talk about transportation, talk about their needs from their point of view. I've met with all the presidents of the community colleges. I've met with businesses. I've met with other college presidents. I think maybe I lack one director of county health department. So meeting with a variety of folks just to get their viewpoints. And they all agree that we need to develop multimodal systems, service directed to their campuses or to their health care facilities, so we can get employees, we can get patients, we can get visitors there, and we can provide them with a choice of their travel needs.
A final thing, I can't harp on this enough. The percentage of household spending that we do for keeping up our cars, paying for gasoline, what are we doing?
In the Piedmont Triad region, household income, about 25.1% of the household income goes to meet our transportation needs.
Oh, my Lord.
Over a fourth of what a typical household brings in goes to move ourselves around. I think it's something that we cannot sustain.
Well, I'm going to put up a website here, because if anything's a case being made for grabbing a PART bus or van pooling or carpooling, this is it. Brent just gave it to you, www.partnc.org. Take the bike, walk, get on a PART bus, do van pooling. There's lots of things open, lots of options open to people. We have about 10 seconds left. You want to preach to the choir one more time for 10 seconds?
What we need to do, we need a larger coverage of multi-modes. We need more frequency. We need good connections. People need to save some money and take advantage of it.
Brent McKinney, Executive Director of PART. Don't be such a stranger for so long.
There you go. Thank you, Jim.
We'll see you next time.
Right.
All right, we'll be right back.